Yeah, good. Well said, Adam.
As in, give me a good point to respond to. I've got no problem with arguing, but don't, you know what I mean? Come back, as we showed with the comments back in January, come back with something that helps us, unless, of course, you don't want to find the truth. Because that's all we're after. We don't want to prove it flat, round, whatever. We want the truth. I'm not bothered what shape it is. Don't care what shape it is. I do want the truth, and I know that I'm not being told the truth. Now, you guys seem to be happy to accept the truth. Well, then don't get involved if you want to. If you're happy with the truth, stay out of it. It's fine.
Yeah.
I have done that. Sorry, mini ramble. But.
No, I agree. I've done what I can for my budget. Now let's see what you can do. And of course they'll throw up Brian Cox in his vacuum and dropping shit and hammers and stuff, but it's not what you've done. Show us what you've done. We're not interested in what you've read, what you've seen. Show us.
Yeah, because all science should be able to be tested by ourselves, shouldn't it? Almost all.
Empirical.
Yeah.
If it's not empirical, then it's not science. If it's not falsifiable, then it's not using the scientific method and therefore cannot be considered as scientific. It is theory, opinion, whatever. But this was common knowledge hundreds of years ago. This was
I guess my question is
scientific method.
When did science change to a hidey-tidy, we don't debate stuff anymore, it's been settled? When did it go from let's actually figure this out, this is kind of exciting, I want to know, to, well, so-and-so just got in the peer review at Harvard, and yes, a couple of us think we should support his paper, yes, yes, like what happened when
it was the Royal Society.
They know it's a globe. They know it's a globe, James. That's the difference between this one. Everyone knows it's a globe.
Well, I would add that the detail in which academics study, the shape and the size of the Earth is irrelevant. The level on which things are already assumed, they're not questioned. This is not questioned in terms of when you are looking at anything academic today, from medicine.
Well, it would destroy
any field. Yeah, it would destroy them. Relevant. Well, it's not that it would destroy them, Jose, but when you're looking and studying in that field, pick any field and any development field, the assumptions are there, and you don't question the assumptions that are given to you.
But that's the problem with how we learn, right? We're taught to, the emphasis is on memory and set piece answers that we have to remember how they fit into a theory that they've provided. It's not really like observational learning. It's more like factual learning, where the facts are already determined and you're memorizing them. And how good you are in life and how good a school you get in, how good where you get in to show your memorization skills depends on how astute you can record what the teacher says is law.
Yeah, and that most basic of laws is something that you wouldn't question. That's the point, especially if it doesn't affect the field. Even in terms of like surveying and stuff, right? They know they don't accommodate for curvature. It doesn't bother them because the Earth's a globe. It's fine. This is what it's for. Fine, because it doesn't matter really.
Oh, that makes me think of Rob's friend. Rob's friend says that all the time. Yeah, so what? Yeah, maybe. Well, it's still flat. Doesn't matter. Or it's still a ball, Sorry.
That's enough of my scientific apologetics. But realistically, people aren't going to question those fundamentals. You're never going to spot that in top science. We're all parrot taught what we're taught from school. But that kind of most basic, you're never going to question, are you, at that level, because you're not looking at it. It's only when you bother, like what we're doing now, to look at those fundamentals that you do start to question and go, hold up.
Well, like Walt was saying with the moonlight experiment, that, he did it in, 10, 15 minutes the other week. And it's in complete contradiction to what we've all been taught in science books to date.
Yeah. And there's so many bits that I'd hold up the other bits. Once you bother to start to look, the whole deck falls apart, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And every scientist I've challenged to do that experiment has come back with some lame excuse or put me off. They won't do it, and it takes half an hour on, you know, a full moon night or whatever.
I have an honest question, and again, I don't mind making myself look a little noob, but how does science explain, like the other night, the moon, it was a real quarter, almost a real close sliver, but I could actually see the black outline of the whole circular moon. So if the sun is giving the little sliver 10% at any time, because science will tell us that the moon is a reflective surface that takes the light of the sun and captures about maybe anywhere from 8 to 12% at any given time, how is it that I can see the circle of it? I shouldn't, should I? Or am I just nuts?
They would say earthshine.
Earthshine. What the hell is earthshine?
Well, it's the light that the earth gives off reflecting the sun, which is a fair comment. I mean, you know, what you're describing, it quite literally says that there can't be, you know, one sole source of light, and you know, another source of light would be the sun reflecting off the earth, shining up on the moon and showing us the dark side of the moon. That's all I can think. I don't know if that's how they explain it or not, but there would be some sort of excuse for that. But I still want to see the excuse for a cold.
There is none, I don't think. No.
Well, they don't admit it, for a start. They say it's warm. They say it's warmer, marginally, very, very marginally. You can only measure it with millions of pounds worth of equipment, of course. But when I have been in contact with the, you know, leading bolometer expert at Cardiff University, who has all the equipment, it's been over a year now, and I'm still waiting. He said he would do it. He said the experiment was valid, but I'm still waiting.
It's just such a double speak with it, because in the mainstream media, if you watch shows or anything like mystical or everything, it's always by the light of the cold moonlight. Like, you know, there's such a double standard where people are like, yes, the dark, cold moon. But yet, if you think about it the other way, they're like, no, you're an idiot. It's the sun, you moron. There is no moonlight. You know?
Yeah, it's never the warm moonlight, is it?
Nah, it's always the dark, cold moon. Yeah. It's funny. Such double speak.
Yeah, the point being is that, you know, people don't test things. People take things for granted. And even when told that there might be an interest in testing it, can't be wrong. Nope, not interested. It's all been done before. Why would I test it again when matey did it 2,000 years ago or 500 years ago or whatever?
Can I add an ignorant question?
I just had one.
I generally have no idea. The problem I've always had, and please help me with this, is if you think about if the moon is only got reflected light, that's absolutely fine at night. It's during the day, right, that I don't understand it, because if you were sat down and something's lighting up the room and something's so far away that you can't see it, and it might pick a little bit of light up from the light source, but it's never going to reflect enough light back to illuminate it through the light source that's illuminating it and your sky at the same time. That's the thing I've never understood in terms of like I say, it's perfectly feasible at night because it is a clear reflection, but during the day, how does it illuminate through a level of light that it has to be more light of its own that's come, or a different light that's coming through that original light, or surely more. But I say I could be corrected, but I don't see how it's more.
That's a great point. That's something that's new. That's good, Adam. That's great.
I think it's Occam's razor again, isn't it? Why are we forced to contemplate all this mental gymnastics of what could possibly be happening when there's a pretty damn obvious explanation as to what's happening, is that it's not reflecting the sun's light at all. It's only,
yeah.
and that's not a biblical point of view, because as you know, and anyone who listens or follows on Twitter or whatever knows, I'm not a religious person. I'm not touting the Bible here. I'm not, you know, this is based on scientific method data.
Yeah,
It's not
it's just a bonus that the scriptures happen to
emanating.
follow and say all the things that we're testing by ourselves. That's kind of like an added, interesting, you know.
It puts them, it drives them mad, to be honest, because every one of them will that I've come across has accused me of being religious and start spouting things like, well, you know, how come you don't believe this but you believe that when it says it in the Bible? And it's a knee-jerk. There's programming there. Programming has been involved that has told that the ballers will naturally assume that you're coming from a religious biblical standpoint, because that's the only thing that rings true as logic to them. That's the only excuse they can conceive as to why.
But
Scripture,
but it also gives them a chance to go right into their regular comfort zone, which is on the forums attacking like they're the atheists attacking the Christians. That's, or the believers, right? That puts them, that gives them the pass to go into their favorite room and go on the evolution train argument, right?
Well, they just flick the crib sheet over to religious nut and start spouting off, you know, you believe
barraging attacks, yep,
and this sort of thing. So it's an easy out for them, you know. It's like a flat earther believe, you know, when they find out someone they're talking to believes the moon landings, and you just like, you categorize them and go, right, well, you clearly haven't looked at it, you haven't researched it, you don't know what you're talking about, so there's really no point in carrying on. It's the same thing with them, is that they will label you a religious Bible believing nut, because it means then that they don't have to carry on talking to you, you know, because you might actually affront their cognitive dissonance. They hate it. They hate it.
They do. And as I was going, we are pretty much dealing with tremendous amounts of different types of we should be cognitive dissonance brokers, because that's pretty much what we're trying to push through and plow through here.
I think the point I would add there, guys, is that the Bible believing flat earth image is a fallback position for those opposing the science that's being presented to them. And
correct.
And scripture, as you would describe it, James, serious, well-preserved historical documents is what I would call them. And what we're seeing, right, forget whether it's the Bible, the Quran, ancient Vedic scripture, ancient American Indian tales. I'm reading a lot of stuff. Whatever it is, what we're discovering that we can measure and see fits with that ancient text. Whether that means that ancient text, whether it validates it, is irrelevant to me. Like, similar to John, you know, that might help people whose faith needs that length of support, and I'm happy for that.
Sure,
you know what I mean? For me, it's irrelevant. No, but it's an excuse that is put at flat earthers, that we only believe it because it helps us believe in the Bible. I don't believe in the Bible. I think there's a hell of a lot of truth in the Bible. There's a great deal of spiritual learning in the Bible, and there's a great deal of historical truth in the Bible. But do I think it has mystical? No, and I would say no more, other than I don't believe that what a lot of other people believe, you know, and that's for them to believe. And if they believe that and it helps them, then brilliant. What's the problem with that? Leave people alone. Do you know what I mean? It's not hurting you. Get over it.
Yeah.
Get over it. Don't worry about it. It's not going to hurt you. It's not going to hurt you. It's not going to hurt them. It's not going to hurt me. It's not going to hurt you. It's not going to hurt them. It's not going to hurt me. It's not going to hurt them. 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 It's not going
Yeah, certainly.
I like what you said though, and that applies, Adam, because every culture, every system, every civilization, before all the science nuts and wizards of today with all their technology, they all agreed that the cosmology suggested a 3-tiered system. So I mean, I don't know. They knew a lot, the people back then, and everyone loves to resort to the fact that they were morons who didn't even have toilet paper to wipe their asses. But literally, they could figure out eclipses. They knew where the stars were going to be. They knew how things worked.
Well,
Funny.
I've never been a Bible believer, but I've always someone playing with their chips. Always, I put no faith in the Bible whatsoever 2 years ago until I came across Flat Earth, and I had to acknowledge that the Bible was right is a Flat Earth book. So that you can't go through something like that without then thinking, well, what else is right in this book? And I've started.
So forget the spirituality, right, John? Just take it that over the centuries, at least 500 years, I'll give it 500 years, the Bible.
That's fair.
Yeah? Of its continuation. So at least we've got all that learning built up to that point for people to agree on, of independent, unbiased observation. That's what people observe. And I think there's a level of validity in that as we explore stuff and go, oh, is it bally, is it not? And oh, does it spin, is it not? Everything that we find out is supported in ancient documents. That doesn't mean other stuff ancient documents say is true, but I think you've got to take a look at and maybe use it for guidance for further learning or further experimentation.
Well, it's like if the guy next door told you for years and years on end something that you didn't believe, and you dismissed it and said you're a fucking loon, go away, or like his car runs on water or something, and then he comes out and converts your car and runs it on water, you would put a new level of trust in that person next door. Absolutely. And that's simply what I'm saying when it came to the Bible. I had no level of trust in it because I hadn't read it. I didn't give a crap about it. You know, as far as I was concerned, it was shoved down my throat when I was a kid. And there you go. But when I found out that the earth was flat, then it gave a massive new level of trust in this book. Now, do I trust the whole book? No, of course I don't. You know, I don't proclaim there's a firmament or a dome or anything. I say that the evidence is strong that there is a dome or a firmament, however you want to define those things. But we're not there yet. Just because it says it in the Bible doesn't mean that I say yes, it is. You know, it actually works the other way with me. If it says it in the Bible, then I want to prove it so that I can then say, oh, right, well, it was right. You know, just like the flat earth. The first introduction to flat earth I had was in 2013 when I listened to a podcast of someone destroying the Bible because of the passages showing that it was a flat earth book, and that was a tick in the box. And I walked away, I was happy. I was like, yeah, flat earth book, bloody useless. Then I found out it was flat, and you can imagine how now it sits in my mind. I'm like, yeah, shit.
And then you look at something like Enoch, some of the writings that the people in charge of the Bible didn't want in the book, and you read that, right? And then you start to read.
Why was that taken out? Yeah.
Well, it's like the nasty uncle that told you that Santa was a fake, and when you're 7, 8, 9, you thought, you son of a bitch, I hate you, you're a bastard. I believe my mum and dad, I believe them. You're full of shit. And then you find out, you know, when you're 13 that embarrassingly Santa was fake. You have a whole new level of respect for that person that actually told you, you know, that it's fake. You think, okay,
Santa's fake.
He didn't lie to me.
I'm not having it, John. I am not having it. I don't care what you say.
Well, if I say fuck, then it makes this program R-rated, and no one
Exactly.
can,
Well
and no
done.
children
Time to
can
wrap it
now
up here,
listen.
folks.
No
There
kids
you go.
allowed.
Grief, what's going on?
We're in the fringe.
R-rated
This must be
realm.
the fringe hour.
The fringe
hour.
realm, right?
Mhm.
What have we got?
I thought
Brother Rob.
it's a bit like the round table.
I thought I'd just play a song for you as while you were talking.
Thank you, bro.
Wow. All in all, I think we had a really good day today, guys. I enjoyed today very much.
Well, there was that
hold
small
on.
snafu with the switching of the rooms.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we'll have to. I think we've learned our lesson there on that one.
Yeah.
We'll just get Josh to play a little intermission video while we queue up stuff, and we'll just give a little 10-minute intermission break like the old days. That's what we'll do.
I have a little intermission video. Or whatever kind of video. It's kind of long. I didn't realize it was that long until it started uploading. That's why it took 12 hours.
Yeah. You should
Good to have you back, Walt.
should have skimmed a second off of it, Walt.
Thanks.
Just 1 second.
Oh, yeah, I see what you're saying. You're so funny. Get that.
I get that too.
gematria.
I get that too. I get it. Get.
That being
So,
said, we are actually live on IRM Media YouTube channel as well right now. Just so you know, I've picked up the last maybe 15 minutes or so.
okay.
So we are double broadcasting.
Nice.
Right on. I didn't know we could.
So we've gone from
broadcast.
0 to hero.
Right?
I mean, I'm still at 0, so raise your hand if you're a hero.
Actually, it was funny. Now that we're in the fringe part of it, was on the first when we forgot that we are a group of 6 now because we've been so long for 5. And yeah, Adam, you make us 6. So
I think we said 6, didn't we?
no, at first we me too. I do it all the time because we always think it was 5 from the start, right?
Yeah,
I wasn't
we were the Fab
purposely
Five for a minute.
Yeah,
Including
the five guys. No, the 6, the merry 6.
I was counting
Six.
icons. I was just counting icons. So, oh, there's 5 there. There's 5 here. There's 5 of us.
Yeah.
Shit.
As I heard it,
There's
Josh,
6.
to be fair, you said the 5 of us from that are here. You referred to those that were in the room at the point of what I heard. So
Right.
no apologetics required, and it's nice to feel included. And
Yeah, you certainly
guys.
are. Well, I'm excited for the stuff you have cooking, my friend. We got some.
Yeah, you
I've got some hard
really
work
exciting
ahead.
shows.
I've got some hard work
Yes,
ahead.
you do,
but
sir. Yes, you do. That's awesome.
enough of that.
As
for
do
now.
we all. As do we all. We all have a lot to do. I'm going to get out there with a slinky on the roof and drop it with that slow-mo camera.
Yeah. I was just gonna say, did you? Well, how did the slow motion footage turn out? On that?
It turned up in the other room at one point. I saw it pop in. I don't know how to get it to you guys, though. It's in the Hangout we were in before.
I can get it if you guys and screen share it if you guys want. Maybe I can.
Wherever that is. Oh, I found it. Yeah, they both popped in. Show the distant one first, and then show the close-up one second. They're only about 2 or 3 seconds long.
Well, that slinky experiment, I only got to sort of understand it the other day, that it was demonstrating that it was the Earth, that the object was falling rather than the Earth was pulling.
It definitely, from the one video I found showing it, it looked like the force was pushing it down, not something pulling it down. It's definitely an eye-opener.
Because the bottom of it remains stationary, doesn't it, until the top of it catches up.
Does. That's what I can prove, and I want to prove for myself in videos. So definitely, it's coming.
Now, the counterclaim to that is the return coil in the spring, though, guys.
Of course.
Well, then what can I drop?
So,
give me some ideas.
Yeah.
So what you see is until it reforms as a solid lump and then it falls, it falls proportionately, but the bottom proportion comes up. So if you can show it staying completely static,
oh, it does.
that negates the argument. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the bottom
So that's
of the
what
slinky remains completely still.
What I'll try to do is line it up against a
I'm
wall.
not saying they're right.
And slatted boards, perhaps. I think I know. what I
Yeah,
could do.
yeah, colored.
That's what I'm trying to say. That what you need to prove that scientifically isn't a shot with the grass in the background. You need where the center of gravity is.
I have an idea.
I hate that phrase now.
All right, so
It's terrible.
Yeah.
Hold on, Adam. Then in that case, if it was tension in the wire, then in that case, what we would see is the bottom and the top coming together. So the bottom would actually be coming up and the top would be coming down. They'd meet at their center of whatever the hell you want to call it, and then drop. But that's not what we see. We see the bottom remaining exactly where it is, and the top is the only thing that's moving until it reaches the bottom. Do you see what I mean? If it was tension, the bottom would be coming up and the top would be coming up, down.
They would meet in the middle. It would seem.
Possibly. I don't know.
No,
To some
the-
extent.
You see, I don't know. My understanding is if it's falling, then gravity should pull the whole thing. No. Let's talk in a ball model, because it's the only way to then say, well, that's not demonstrated. That's not demonstrated.
I tell you
that's
what, I am
right?
looking at that formula, Adam, and me and you can DM later about it. But I want to look at that 8.9, the NASA formula you had on. That's what I'm going to get into this week, because it goes with what you're talking about right now again.
I think it applies, but I think it only applies, and this is the point of the vacuum chamber experiments. The vacuum chamber experiments are a point of subterfuge to dispel all of these arguments. Now, you can spend a lot of time getting to the point of proving what we already know, what we all learnt. We all learnt it in basic school at science. When we dropped those balls, the lead ball, the thingy ball, through the different thicknesses of water, we all learnt that if something's heavier, it goes through the air faster, or it goes through whatever the thickness of the liquid, whether it's air, water, it goes faster, doesn't it?
Yeah, no matter the viscosity, the mass will push it through.
So that's a distraction, because what they've showed with the vacuum chambers is the next thing that needs, to me, that point settled is what I'm kind of saying. It's kind of, they're happy to make you discuss it, hence 4 questions. You know, it's you know, please stay on this. Don't focus on actually argue on stuff that's quite clear and obvious. Yeah, but so the next point is the vacuum chamber, and then you get into the electric universe, don't you? Which is the points of theory, because there's no proofs. There's certainly no proofs for gravity, otherwise we'd have heard them.
Yeah.
There's lots of cosmology for electric universe, how it works and why it works, pulling that shit down at the same, why it pulls a feather down at the same rate. We can understand it in gravity because we were brought up to understand heavier stuff falls quicker, but that isn't an electric universe, is it? It isn't the way things work, because we see stupidly heavy things levitated because they're cold like that. So to try and apply the level of reality of understanding, it's a bit quantum, isn't it? It's like that quantum
it's finite too, because it's not. There's lots of variables. There's so many variables to it. To quantize it finitely and to hold to the absolute is wrong. And we've already proven that with the 9.8 for whatever that formula is.
Well, have we even proved if heavy things fall faster than light things?
No.
Sort of.
I would say we should try that.
Go look at my video.
I don't know. I'm sincerely asking. I don't know.
Click on my icon.
At the moment, if someone said, does a heavy thing fall faster than a light thing? I don't know.
Video.
So that's the conclusion of the vacuum chamber. That is the total conclusion, that no, things do not fall heavier.
But we know the vacuum chamber is already a fraud.
But
so
that's not what I'm...
the rest of it a fraud?
Well, we've got to do it, haven't we?
Yeah.
The only way to then.
I mean, I'm inclined to go along with the, what happened on the moon guys who did it in a London studio. That's exactly what happens whenever I do it. But is that a conclusive?
Click on my icon, John. Click on my icon.
Sorry, mate.
Can you see that?
Yeah.
The guy holding there, the hammer and the feather. Yeah. All right.
Oof. Same time.
Well, I mean,
so the vacuum.
There's a slow motion close up too. So I did a close up to show you that they do hit.
Or is that yours? Whoa.
Yeah, that's mine. I did that while we were on there a while ago.
So we've done it. Brilliant.
Go do the other one, Josh.
So the other one is the same drop.
Yeah. The other one's up close.
But it's going to have to
like
be off 100-foot building. It's going to be.
No, I know.
No. I'm just saying. I'm taking a piss.
Yeah, I know. Trust me.
It's going to have to be made of titanium. It's going to have to be absolutely precision beveled.
And that again is the point of the vacuum chamber. That removes that formula we saw earlier, doesn't it? It removes the F equals D minus W formula,
which is whittled down to weight versus minus drag, or drag minus weight, whatever it is.
So what we're seeing is irrelevant of weight, right? Irrelevant of mass, right? Shit falls at the same rate, right? Now, what do we know about gravity? We know that the bigger the mass, the greater the gravitational attraction.
So they say, but that doesn't hold true. Otherwise, the moon would orbit the sun.
Well, because that's why the sun is orbited by all the smaller things. Otherwise, the sun might as well orbit the moon.
So we've just shown that that's rubbish.
Well, no. What this experiment to me shows is that, irrespective of mass, stuff falls at the same rate to the ground. And then the only thing that can impede that rate is viscosity of the thing it's falling through, whether that's air
would you
Everest, or whether it's thick syrup, or whether it's Walt's backyard.
So when you say mass, would you replace that with density? Could you?
Surely.
Yeah.
Yes, because those two objects that you see drop there have totally different densities.
Absolutely.
So the thing that density, no, density isn't irrelevant. Density affects things in that is pulling it down, that is outside of physicality. So in terms of air thickness or viscosity of anything, they're the things that density and buoyancy affect. However, outside of that, some other force is acting.
Sure.
If we believe that gravity is that force, and the preponderance of gravity is that the bigger the mass, the greater the attraction, then a heavier thing should fall. If you listen to the stuff that you hear on TV, they propose that because that hammer has got a heavier mass than the feather, it takes more force to be applied initially, more inertia to be applied to start it falling to the ground. Now, if that was the case, the hammer would speed up and catch the feather up. That's the mainstream explanation disposed there in terms of that as well. So sorry, that was a side thought that just came to me.
No worries. I have a dumb question. This is what I do. I ask these dumb questions once in a while, but I just dropped a highlighter in a piece of paper, and let me tell you, the feather may be flawed to begin with, because the feather is supposed to tell you that it's going to float and kind of spindle down like a leaf, but it has weight. The feather goes down. Drop a hammer in a piece of paper. That is, I just did it right now. Completely different. The highlighter, boom, there it is. Every time the highlighter hits the floor before the piece of paper.
Has aerodynamics.
A bigger area.
It has a much, much higher friction rate. Drop the highlighter and a paper clip.
Okay, doing it right now. One paper clip, ready to go.
And Walt,
Okay.
Walt, you may want to check your library of videos. I don't think the close-up is the same one as the far away.
Oof, that was much closer, John. Much closer.
Mm-hmm.
But then why
happened, Josh?
why did they make
sorry.
the video such a parody then with the feather and a hammer? Because they're so weighted differently. Why would they choose?
I've always thought that as well.
Yeah, I don't. Something doesn't
because it was
make
a
sense
falcon
then.
feather. It was a falcon feather, and falcon feathers are bloody huge anyway. So it's not like dropping your Tweety Pie feather, which is going to zigzag left and right all the way down.
But people, how many people
don't
knew
forget
it's a
the
falcon
feather.
feather? How many people know
But
that?
forget the feather. You use something like they said, use an aluminium ball and a gold ball, or a silver ball or an iron ball and a wooden ball. It's the same. They need to be the same size. They need to be the same shape. They need to be different densities. They need to be falling through the same medium of density.
Right.
So if we follow that formula,
instead of fucking about with hammers and feathers and bullshit like that.
Can we not build a box that has a camera on the bottom and that the air temperature is good, and put a couple of holes in the top, like 3 holes, so you could drop one steel ball, one wood ball, and one aluminum ball in that controlled little case, and then see what happens? Is that what you're?
If that's the level you want to go to, then absolutely do it in an absolute vacuum.
Guys, that experiment, all that experiment does is measure the effect that mass has on rate of drop. And just rate of drop, that's all it does, because all you do, your differential there is the density of the object. The drag in that equation is exactly the same. So all you're doing is varying the weight. Okay, so all you demonstrate in that experiment,
we got mass, we got density. We need to be more specific.
Right, density.
I hear what you're right, Adam. I hear what you're saying. By the way, I got your point.
Yeah, density is how much mass you cram into a volume.
Yep.
Put simply.
Right.
Okay.
So what you're showing there,
compress into a space. Yeah.
Yeah. Now, what the experiment should show, from what all science does state, is that the lighter ball should. Now, there's 2 ways of doing the experiment. You can drop a stab at this thing with a stopwatch from a ridiculously high height in a controlled non-wind out exterior chamber, or you can use lasers to time it. But surely both would show the lighter ball takes slightly more time to hit the ground. Reason being, the air molecules have a bigger effect slowing it down, i.e. the rate of slower on that increased weight within the same thing shows that it falls through against the resistance. Just like anything, if I punch something with a big force, I'll go through whatever I punch more than if I punch it with a smaller force. And that's what that physics is showing.
I heard you all night. How do you sit there in silence? I'll be tearing my cheeks off, like James would say.
I've been enthralled.
Man, a
we're
few words.
Come on, Ron Reel.
Come on, Ron. Show us why you're so Ron Reel.
Who are you talking to?
Yeah.
You, Rob.
Well, Rob.
Someone else talk.
I was doing I'm doing a little dropper. I'm dropping a, I'll just put it on a, hang
You're all fucking multitasking. That's what you're doing. You're all doing other shit.
This is
Probably
what
doing the
happens on hour
hoovering
3.
and cleaning,
Watering.
washing the car, changing the battery. Do this, I'll do that. Oh, this is a good time. I'll go and read a fucking book.
So, see this thing here?
What we got, Rob? So look.
All right, I just dropped this thing here, and a cup. That at exactly the same time, and they both landed at exactly the same time. From about 2 meters up, I dropped them.
Yeah,
Nearly identical.
Same as I've
I
had.
just took a video of it. I'm just trying to give you the video of it.
On the fly. This is reporting on the fly.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, if we could do that off a 200-foot building, and we could manage to actually, you know, it's like setting the Falkort pendulum lock-in. It's all about dropping these things at exactly. How do you make sure you're dropping the same things at exactly the same time? It's all about dropping these things at exactly.
Has anybody written Mythbusters to see if they can
how
debunk
do you make
the flat
sure
Earth?
you're dropping the same things at exactly the same time? I'd rather have a seance with Carl Sagan.
Not your cup of tea, eh, brother?
Well, what's the point? They're talking about reflecting lasers off the moon because man's been there to put reflectors on the moon. When the Russians put reflectors on the moon, apparently years before without man. So, I mean, who gives a shit about Mythbusters? You might as well talk to the paleontologists and Rogan.
That's true, and I did see their moon debunk, but it was about. I mean, I more said it because they can't. They won't. They'll falsify something or say something. It would be like Vsauce. You're right.
Well, in their favour, they did discount they did myth bust the Coriolis effect of bog water going down clockwise and anti-clockwise. So fair enough.
Mm-hmm.
But their proof that we landed on the moon was the fact that they got one blip back from a laser beam. I mean, come on. They can't even look up that the Russians put laser reflectors on the moon long before Apollo. I mean, is that too much to ask? They can't work out that we've got a rover on Mars. Does that mean that we had a man there from the EAA or whatever to put the rover on Mars?
Yeah, Stagehand Al was there. He helped. Stagehand Al from Disney was there the whole time, John.
Absolutely, alongside Kubrick.
But I'm feeling like I'm just going to shoot myself in the foot if I talk anymore. I'm already feeling like I talk too much. So I think I'm going to retire here and let you fine folks carry on.
I'm feeling the same. I'm quite aggressive tonight, I think.
Get a little wound up, did you?
Guys, I think it's time to wind the show up and
toddle on to the after party.
Yeah,
I thought this was the after party.
I think
maybe have a chat. I thought it was a good show tonight, guys. I thought first hour went well, 4 questions. We covered it professionally as opposed to emotionally. Do you know what I mean? The second half, John, the same, a professional coverage of the responses and the comments, you know, and realistically, hopefully, I don't see anything that showed anything other than
it's right here. Just remind me.
The comments are weak and ill-founded or factually incorrect as in terms of criticizing, you know, my comments.
Well, I like what you said. I hope it spurs him to make another one, a better one, that take out all the crap that we know was crap and that he was just throwing out there to try and do a quick debunk and come back with some that we can come back and do something more solid as well. Because I think on some level, the people like I and those Globers, they're just as hyped as us. to, you know, defend their position as much. And if they know that they can engage with us in a proper way, maybe we'll get someone who really wants to.
I'd offer a plea. You know, what we saw with Sly's response was such beautiful graphics, such high-end production. Give us a story to give to you, mate, to make at that level of production, our side of things, and then you do your side and see what people believe. You know, there was a lot of slick graphics that I saw, but there was a distinct lack of substance. John's was really ropey, but full of substance. And that's the only thing I would say to him. Give us a fair shot, mate. Let us do a video for us. Work with us. Give us a video where you do that level of graphics that we could demonstrate our points to people simply.
Uses analytical skills on some of the boats over the horizon videos that we've got now with the P900s. Take the P900 footage and do the analysis that you did on you know, my mobile workshop.
Took quite a bit of time to go through all of your footage. Absolutely, there was a lot of work put into it. So let's see it in something else.
Whatever he did, yeah. Come and put the same level of effort and skills and expertise on our side, and just give us a chance and be a scientist, and then judge your own work, mate. That's
same
what I'm saying.
goes out for Wolfie 6020 or whatever. You know, instead of sort of saying that we never pick up on these mistakes, when, you know, in reality, you don't listen to what we're talking about.
Is Wolfie the guy that Bob talks about on has talked about on Globebusters?
Yeah, I think
with
he's
feedback.
a pilot.
Well, to be fair to that guy,
commercial pilot.
Yeah, the way Bob talks, he's a fairly reasonable guy. He holds a different opinion, but is at least reasonable. So, Wolfie, you know, give us a go, mate. You know, throw some money to Bob, help him buy the ring.
Is there any, you know, what I'd like to say to these people is, what have you got to lose if you realize it's flat and stationary? What is there that is stopping you investigating whether it is? Because truth is no investigation. You get on it and test it. What are you scared of? You know, not, I don't want to say you're scared of anything. That's not a laying down a gauntlet or anything. It's just, are you prepared to change your worldview, your paradigm, if the right evidence is put in front of you, or you do it yourself? That's what I want to know. Stick a ring laser gyro in an environment that is you know, acceptable to you and Bob and all the rest of it, and if it doesn't move, what are you going to conclude from that? Because that's what I heard before. You know, someone said, I'll get their name up, Chris, someone commented saying, you know, the next experiment is wireless. So what are you going to say then? Because almost all of your criticism is saying that I'm controlling this gyroscope somehow with the wire. So what are you going to say then? And they were saying, you know, well, what are you going to say when the wireless one does move? And it's like, well, why can't you show us? Do it. Put your money where your mouth is.
What are you going to do when... That's hilarious, though, isn't it? That's just so weak. It's just, honestly, it's that level of stuff. I don't know, John, how you bother to even respond to half of the stuff that you on Twitter that you put up with, because it's not worth responding to.
But Adam,
is a one-off.
We're going to have to forgive these people and work with them when it all comes out anyway. They're
Look,
going to be
no
with
problem
us doing it, you know.
Yeah,
eventually.
I've no problem with somebody saying to John, but why? What do you think? Why would make this happen? Or I think even if you do this, it wouldn't make a difference, right? I've no problem with that and engaging with somebody who wants to talk like that. But somebody who just is rocking in like that, even you can't have a reasonable conversation with them. So
Most
why
of the
are
time,
they
you're
there?
correct. You can't have that reasonable conversation with that person. But if you
Yeah.
do it in a public format, other
Mhm.
reasonable people will see how reasonable you are being and go,
Yeah.
well, maybe this crazy flat earth thing isn't as crazy as I thought it was. Because, I mean, I'm sure you all started out just like me trying to debunk the flat earth, and look at us all now.
I know
Well,
that's my
exactly
point.
what I'm saying, Rob. Well, that's
Mm-hmm.
exactly what I'm saying. Is that I do these things because I want other people who are being asked the same questions or whatever to see what my reply is. It's entirely for the benefit of others. It's not for the baller that I'm arguing with or whatever. And
Yeah.
Never.
shout out
No.
quickly
John.
to Chris Czar 579 on YouTube. Spot on, whoever you are.
Hmm.
John, that's what I'm saying, mate. I respect the energy and the ability to keep responding to people. What I'm saying is I couldn't do it. I can't even. I think it's admirable the way you're able to respond in the volume and the effort that you put in, mate. Is what I'm saying, and I think a lot of your Twitter followers will recognise that. And I'm just saying, fair play, mate. I couldn't do it, and
but that's why we're all different, Adam, and that's why we're a group here, a group of 6 who each bring different things to the table. And I'd also like to just add that Twitter is a very underutilized space in terms of, everybody goes deeper into the YouTube videos. And the thing about I like about the Iron Realm is we've started on Twitter. We carry on Twitter. And if any of our listeners want to get a hold of us, if they want to chat, they want to engage, we're always on Twitter. So that is a good place to engage with us.
I think that's a good time to
Yes,
go
sir,
around
John.
the table and tell people how to get in contact with us if they're on Twitter.
Absolutely. I will start. I'm James, the Full Armor OG, and you can get me at the Full Armor OG.
All right. I'm John Savage. You can get me at SwearyG. That's SWEARYG on Twitter. Walt.
I am Walt, also known as Flat Earth Head, but my @ is Facebones777 on Twitter.
Josh.
This is real creative. I'm Josh. Last name is Corey. I have like 3 first names. My Twitter is at JRCorey77. So yeah.
And Rob.
Rob Schwarzenegger. You'll get me Rob_Freddy. Yeah, you'll if you try and follow me and you're a troll, I'll block you. If you call me names, I'll block you. I'll block
That's
you.
fair.
Simple
That's
as that.
totally fair.
I don't put up with it. So
If you send me porn, I'll block you.
Rob's our bulldog.
Try to sell me
Or
sunglasses, I'll block you.
He's our
What's the
Fixer.
Aussie dog?
dingo.
Dingo.
cattle dog.
Rob's our dingo.
Tasmanian devil. Tasmanian devil.
Yeah, that's more like it.
I think dingo is a bit nasty, John.
Scrap
Nasty
yard
thing to say
dingo.
to me.
Oh,
Nasty
sorry.
thing.
Man.
Oh,
I have a dog that looks just like a dingo. A black
I want a
dingo.
dingo.
It'll eat
A
your
dingo
baby.
took my baby.
a dingo ate my baby.
They don't bark, do they?
Oh, they bark.
Yes.
Go, don't eat your
I think
face
they
off.
howl. They howl, actually.
I thought dingoes were barkless. Or am I thinking of something
Yeah, I
else?
think they-
Tasmanian devil?
You are way off the mark on that.
Something
that's
is
okay.
barkless.
Didn't Max have a dingo? Max Headroom? No. Max on the run, road, furious, hellfire.
Mad Max.
What was his name?
Mad.
Mad? Man,
Mad Max. That's the one. Didn't
Nope,
he have a dingo?
that was a blue healer.
a blue healer, yeah.
Blue healer. I had
Ah.
one. They're a great breed. Amazing
Cattle
dogs.
dog, isn't it?
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
lovely.
I used to
Amazing
have
dogs.
a blue
Yeah.
healer mixed with an Australian Shepherd. Incidentally enough,
That's nice.
Mel Gibson is also Australian. Incidentally enough,
As someone's
We've
eating a bag
got a
of
few more watching
nut.
now, team.
Adam.
Got a few
Sorry?
more watching. Jameer's in there again.
Nice.
Yeah,
Hi, Jamia.
we were talking about her the other day, saying we should get her on the show, and I just said that to her in
Yes.
the chat too, because she's in a very great location, right? That's one of the neat things I thought.
I don't know.
Should we
You're
put the
telling
link
story.
out so anyone can join? That'd be a Google.
Yes,
Yeah.
it's out there. Good shout.
We might maybe get a global list.
Anybody? I want to speak to Ravenlocks because I've followed her for years before I've seen her. She was linked with you guys, you know. I want to speak to Ravenlocks.
Yeah.
Yeah,
There's
I
actually
agree.
we could get a couple. That's a question I've been asked in my own family, and I don't really know how to answer it. So I'm going to table it here to the realm, the Knights of the Realm here. Let's see, why is it that there is a lot of mainly, and I don't want to come off wrong here, but not a lot of women and a lot of white older males that are seeming to propagate a lot of this movement. And that was a serious question I was thrown, and I was like, I haven't really thought about it. I don't even know if that's accurate, but I'll look into it.
I wouldn't say it's accurate.
No, nor me.
Okay.
I think.
All right.
I've got numerous female flat Earth friends.
Yep, I have a lot on there as well.
I think into flat Earth and
Now, get them vocal. That's the
being
difference.
aware of is, and then broadcasting are two different things.
Yeah, and that's why. I mean, the person that asked me said, "Well, how come the first people were all white men, like Eric Dubé, Mark Sargent, and
Do you
X
know why?
Morgoth,
Because
Jeranism,
It's
whatever."
like someone saying why are all flat earthers Bible believers? It's just bullshit. It's
Nonsense.
assumption.
Mm.
We don't even know
White
how many
men.
flat earthers there are.
White men can't jump.
Yeah. But it's the same. It's just assumption, and back that statement up or bugger off and stop shit stirring.
But see,
Yeah,
that's what
that's not
happens.
true.
I get thrown off by it, and I don't know how to answer. But it would be in
White
my own
men-
head. It would be nice to see some women doing shows, like Adam said, actually taking it further.
Well,
girl power.
you've got
That's what we need. Some
Patricia Steer. You've got
this phony Patricia.
Okay, but who else, John? If we're going to be fair and go down this road.
you've got
Who
Patricia
else?
Steer. You've got that
Yeah.
That blonde girl,
Okay,
gorgeous
that's
looking
true.
blonde girl.
and that redhead
You've
girl.
got
I reckon
red
it's 20 or 30 to 1 men to women.
That's
least.
thank you. That's what I'm
At
just trying
least.
to say. Yeah.
name me a subject that isn't. Maybe it's just blokes
Feminism.
are more outspoken and
Dishwashing.
quicker to
Oh,
most dishwashers.
Cosmetics.
I've been in. Hold on,
Ironing,
Josh. You're in catering, Josh. How many dishwashers have you known that have been female?
Very few.
Very few. And I know as a dishwasher in a restaurant and a sous chef and a
A hard
chef de
job.
partie and head chef that I don't remember ever having a female dishwasher.
all I know is, according
You
to
know
my
why?
wife,
Because we do a better job.
It could have been no, I was going to
No
say the
comment.
complete opposite. I'm completely told every time my work is substandard. So you maybe should have been better off employing less women with greater output.
Can I say this is just the difference between a home kitchen and a commercial kitchen? At
Absolutely.
home,
And I am only joking.
at home they
Oh,
have
no, you are.
I
cabinets.
am only
Yeah.
joking.
And I want to add a disclaimer, like this isn't my thoughts. I'm just repeating a question that threw me off guard because I hadn't thought about it. So don't take my opinions as this is what I believe. I was just putting it out there. Somebody
Yeah,
asked me a
we're going to
question,
hang you
I
for that, Jay.
didn't know an answer because I mean, well, the first thing they said was true. I mean, Eric Dubé, Mark Sargent, Jaronism, what's that other bloke's name? The Morgile. And then you got
let's
Matt
think of how
Powerland.
many black flat earthers we know.
Tons. I actually know a lot.
Tons, of course.
Yeah.
You got
But
Dave
just white
Murphy,
and
you got
black,
Show Me the
though.
Curves, you got
Brother Sanchez.
Brother Sanchez,
let's-
Dr. Zach, isn't he?
I've spoke to Dr. Zach. I have no idea what creed,
No,
He's
colour,
European,
whatever he is.
Turkish.
Does it matter?
We
Does
had
it
No.
fucking
That's the
matter?
whole point.
That was about to be my question, Adam.
It didn't matter
Does
to
it
me when I
at all?
emailed him.
The whole
It didn't
male,
matter to me.
female, the whole black, white, the whole yellow, green. Who
Mm,
gives a shit? No one gives a shit, and the only people that do are the ones that are bringing it up.
do you want to
Who
know
gives a
why?
shit?
What about Kyrie?
Because I got mad. and I said,
Kyrie. What about
"Why?"
B.O.B.?
Mm.
I mean, fuck off. We're all white, male,
Actually, John,
absolute
I-
rubbish.
Yeah,
would-
James.
I would
what a
ask-
stupid question, James.
Hey,
No,
well,
I would
the
ask the
opposition did.
question,
Sorry, go ahead, Adam.
What colour are all the people that ask those stupid fuckwit questions? I bet they're all white middle class libtards.
Probably
Yes,
James,
sir.
slightly.
James.
But if
Bang,
we-
bang, right on, Adam. You
I mean, what
frickin' nailed it.
nationality are you, Adam?
Well, I'm English, mate.
And your parents?
They were English. My wife's Scottish. My
Hmm.
children are English because they were born in England. Yeah,
Haven't you
and-
got
and-
Italian in you?
Well,
No,
if we
that's
go
me.
back, to grandparents, then yeah, we go back there. Mine are
So
working
two
class. Mine is.
generations.
We're just the progeny of Viking rape. Mate, is my family. If you
We
wanna know
are
the truth.
all basically mongrels.
Truth.
I'm gonna
Yeah,
incendiary
we're
this.
British.
I'm gonna
The
throw
British
a bomb.
as a nation are all total mongrels.
I'll tell you why.
The only true race for ginger. Sorry, that's a bit. That's off the cuff.
Ooh,
But
what a rune killer.
Taxi for Adam.
yes, no. Well, to be fair, they're Atlanteans and they are ginger, and that's what was bred out of this.
You mentioned the G word, Adam. Good
I'm telling you,
you might as
there's a
well mention the
resurgence.
J word.
Or the P word.
There's a resurgence of the ginger gene, right?
Who gets kicked? That's what
I've seen it in my beard.
It
I've
is.
seen it in my beard.
Mm.
I've seen him, my dog. I'm
So-
only kidding.
To take it a step further, so I pounded I hounded the person for an answer, right, as to why, and here's where the thinking came from, and it is so flawed that the elites that control the world. Okay, so I mean, some of us have spoken on air about these types of things, like Khazarians and certain groups or whatever. It's the understanding that they're in power of the world. So they had drawn the parallel. Well, seems to be a bunch of old white pricks running all the economics and the Federal Reserves and the this and the that and the Illuminati. So why wouldn't they do a psyop and bring it out with white people? And that is the ridiculousness of the whole story.
Hey, I just put a photo of me and my family in chat. Josh, you better check it out before you post it. Okay.
Can I just ask a question? Have I just been accused of being a white supremacist there, or am I Donald Trump?
Where?
What? No.
Where?
Where?
From the accusation of that statement
What
is to
statement?
imply that the statement about who is the creed and colour and gender of those that are flat earthers. That statement would imply that there's some
Apparently, you weren't here
planned.
for an early show,
Oh.
Adam, where we were vehemently attacked for our racial profiling, or whatever you want to call it. Yeah, we've already had that called out against us, although it's
That's
completely
hilarious,
unfounded and ridiculous. I mean, as we've all stated, we have many people on Twitter that
You know what,
fit
guys?
a range of people.
There's a great analogy of that this week in my profession, and I deal with a lot of people that are unfortunate than me in terms of addiction and the likes, and a lot of them I try to help, and some of them come into my shop with the intention of stealing, and this this week, 4 people rushed into my shop, and it was quite obvious why. You know, after many 20 odd years of this profession, you understand what's going off. And there's a number of people ran in. One of them ran straight up to me. Oh, I need help with my skin. Can you come in here and can I come into consultation? There's the other 3. One of them I saw drop a bag. The second I challenged them, what the hell do you think is going off in here, guys? This kind of behaviour is inappropriate. Yeah, the black guy stood there. Are you being racist because I'm black? And that is such a basic response. It says, are you mental? You're going to stand there and the base response you've got is to respond to the way we're behaving is to challenge me on my ethnicity. And within a short time, they cleared the shop. Yeah. But the response there is, that's what's given to so many people those basic liberal ideologies that if you are in any way opposed to equality in any way, that could be nothing other than being completely passive, that you're being racist, and it's pathetic. And
These
I
are
refuse.
all the Democrats that Trump shut down. You're talking about.
Yeah.
Those are them.
Well,
yeah.
I refuse to curtail to it, mate. And if anybody ever wants to challenge me on that, I'm more than happy to engage in that, because it's
I don't want to bring up the word,
I mean?
but you're describing exactly what happens if you talk about a J.
What's a J?
I'm not going to say it, John. You already tried to go at me to say it. Talk about say the J word.
Those the Ashkenazi, those from Khazaria.
Yes.
Oh, a Jew.
No.
Oh, I have loads of Jewish friends. I'll help you say the word Jew.
But I mean, what you just said is exactly what happens if you were to do anything or stand any sort of question. You're an AS. You're an anti-Semite right away, and that's what effectively the younger youth employ the same tactics to you in the store. It's the same kind of unfair, liberal, right, left-wing, libtard. It's awful. Those kinds of they're mental traps. Those things. I hate them.
Fallacy. It's a fallacy, is what it is. It's one of these fallacies that is used like a straw man, like ad hominem, like ad infinitum. It's a fallacy.
I'll go with you there, guys.
It's a tactic. You know, it's a tactic. Yeah. It's like you back someone into a corner in the playground and they, you know, turn around and say you're fat or whatever, or it's just so basic.
We've been programmed for knee-jerk reactions to these things. That's what it's all about.
Don't respond.
Knee-jerk embarrassment, I think. Not reactions, embarrassment, fear to be labelled is what I would suggest we've been programmed with.
Politically correct.
Yeah, those of us that can move past it and see the programming, we
it was as
don't
powerful as
it. We just see it.
Conspiracy theorists. Politically correct is the next one. You can't call, you know, I can't even say the words because
it's all in the same
thing. Trigger,
right.
It's going to trigger anyone listening. Mm-hmm. You know, you can't say these words. It's programming, and it's hardcore programming too. And Flat Earth is just one of those programs that instigates immediate, you know, hostile violence.
It's really deep, Adam. You can speak to that. I mean, the psychological warfare aspect of turning our own instincts and the need to be included in groups and peers, and then flipping it against us so that you know, it's really mean. It's a really dirty trick. Really bad.
It's a very, very powerful tool in today's society to be able to manipulate people. Because for the fear of a label, you will subjugate your opinion. That's not free speech, is it? Because you're so scared of being called racist, sexist, homophobic, anti-GBLE, whatever. Do you know what I mean? Whatever it is, you're so scared, even to the point that I see in America now. People are so scared of having that label attached to them that they'll tolerate grown men in a dress going into the ladies' locker room. I don't know how true that is, but there's a level of cartoon humor in that.
That's accurate, and that's unfortunately where it is. Everything is so bloody and cindery now, and PC, politically correct, and accepting, and all these things that.
But we're so scared of a label, we've forgotten what is right and wrong.
But clinically, if you repeatedly take those opportunities as a person in your psyche and you go against what your morals and your beliefs are, it knocks you down mentally in a way that you could never hurt yourself. It really does, subconsciously. If you consistently go against what you know is right, because so I look at it like when you were younger, if people were bullying one guy and you were there and you wanted to do something but you didn't, this is the same kind of thing they're using against us, and it's just it makes me. I'm off my pot now. It makes me angry.
Child, it's playground stuff, isn't it? It's just playground mentality that be long over. But the problem is that we're children in adult bodies. The way we've been educated. That's literally all we are.
Look at Adam. I know you follow Trump a bit, and so do I, just for kicks. But so the whole left side was all about in arms, like this guy met with the Russians and he needs to resign. And then some people on the left found 2 pictures of the Democrats meeting.
That's I don't get that shit, right? As a British person, right? So I don't understand what the Russians are supposed to have done. But even if they did, forget the fucking Russians. Hillary Clinton was being financed by this ISIS. There's not a correction of interest required there. I don't know what the Russians did. What did they do? Ring everybody in America and say, vote Trump, vote Trump, vote Trump. You will vote Trump. What did they do? I don't even know, dude. Corrupted why was your mind corrupted by the Russians? Did they send you vodka? What did they do?
They're the one. They're the blame for Hillary's loss, I think.
But there's people out there that go, "Oh yeah, the Russians did it. The Russians were involved," and they think, "What do these people think the Russians did?" Is what I'm asking. What did they do?
They meddled with the whatchamacallit. What was the claim, Josh? The
voting.
The voting,
the comrades had the way to get in the system and change the votes, and so many votes went to people who should not have gotten the votes, comrade.
Like George Soros hasn't.
Right. As if that's
so what did they do? They didn't
do anything. It's just the boogeyman of the week.
Nothing.
25, 30 years. So it's time to shake the Russian boogeyman stick up in the air for everybody for a while.
It started with them saying Trump did business in Russia. Then when Trump started gaining traction, he was friends with Putin. Then it started that he is in ties with Putin. Then as he continued to lose, then now it's the Russians interfered. It's all a big cover story, Adam. It's a cover story for Hillary.
We had a lovely thing this week on. I always keep abreast of Newsnight and stuff like that, BBC News, and for a good 30, 40 seconds, Newsnight covered the Trump vodka advert because it was a mix of the word Trump in a Russian style, a Russian kind of communist style, with music and profit, and they showed that whole advert, the promotional advert. So it's so clearly, right? But as I say, there's absolutely nothing that I've heard of any substance that tells me what has he done to make you guys are American. How did the Russians affect your vote? What happened?
Josh, and Walt.
How did it affect?
No, you say that I got Russian programming. Switched them off.
So yeah, I didn't.
No, we got 2
I'm really not the one.
Strengthen my resolve.
Something that they could have influenced.
Strengthen my resolve that I don't need a leader.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It proves.
Well, you're not talking anarchy, Josh, are you?
Are you kidding me? Of course I'm talking anarchy. I think that's the only responsible way people should live. I mean, it's until this sort of mass awakening, that 100th monkey syndrome happens, and everybody can start to lose these labels and stop the manipulations and stop with this BS and sort of start to be real with everyone. Once that happens and people can take responsibility for their own actions, I think then anarchy would be possible.
So how does that come about, Josh? Where have we got to go from here to get to there?
That's a fabulous question. Again, just like everything else, just like the flat earth, I think it's going to be different for everybody.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's a 2012 reverberation of this mass awakening, and that's sort of where the flat earth is coming from, and these are all just sort of things that have already been set in motion. But
do you think
that's
we've
part of it.
reached
I really do.
do you think we've reached critical mass? Do you think, you know, we're at the tip of the wave and that there's no stopping it now, or can it be quashed?
I think the only thing that really can stop any of this at this point is their big end game, whatever that is. And we all know the speculations there are rampant and numerous, but it would have to be something major. I mean,
Do you
literally
not
rounding up
think-
folks to camps at this point would take that level, I think.
Do you not think on a street by street basis that the way they have it set up right now, that, you know, they control the media, they control your food, your air, your water, everything, that it would literally be a case of a UN truck or a neutral colored truck pulling up in your street, rounding people up into the bus, and they're off? How many people do you think would UN that in your street? Because I suspect I would be the only one.
Oh yeah, they
And-
wouldn't have a clue until they literally were dragged to the truck, kicking and screaming what was going on. Most people, you're right.
And part two, how many would care? You know, that they are. Yeah, sorry, I lost my train of thought.
I've got a point to add to that, John. In terms of you say that now, things have to get to a point where the population is controlled sufficiently for that to be able to happen. And one of the things that I've noticed in some of the, and again, like I say, I am following it because I think it's of real interest, the executive orders that Trump's making and stuff at the moment. And one of the things I saw is he repealed a lot of the water acts so that all of the groundwaters and things that came under federal legislation, even to the bureaucracy of puddles, has been repealed. Now, if you're going to control a population, you have to have the water supply. Mm-hmm. And if the countryside can have their own water supply from streams, on land water, then they're much harder to control. And that's, I'm not a Trump believer he's some kind of golden messiah, but no, I am, like I say, I am watching what he's doing with interest and following the implications of the legislation. And that one, I thought from a population control point of view was opposite to
I think
what had been set up.
You watch people and you judge them by their fruits, no matter what the gossip and the assumptions are in the background. You've got to judge people by their fruits.
Yes.
I've heard that somewhere, John. I've heard that somewhere. Yeah. Where have you heard that?
I don't know. Wonder.
Rob, do you know?
What's that?
But
that phrase is fucking wise.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. That's the only thing I go by. And it's the only thing. The only thing. You need proofs. And you need observable proofs.
And judging them by their fruits. So it's a case of, you know, benefit of the doubt until proven otherwise, as far as I'm concerned. And what did you say he recalled? The Water Act. Yeah, okay, that's a massive step in the right direction. It would be like the UK government giving back the right to bear arms to the people. Now, if I saw that happening, then I would say we're on the right path. But I don't see that happening. I see them introducing fluoride into the water system. I see still chemtrails running over every day or every other day. I'm not seeing that sort of thing. But yeah, you're absolutely right. For Trump to repeal water laws is a step in the right direction, if that is indeed what it actually is, because the devil is in the
exactly.
detail.
Yeah,
And
we'll
we know
see,
that
won't
we know that Obama did things to make America weaker, right? I mean, can we all agree on that? Like, he did a lot of things that leaded to other countries getting the better of us. If that's not propaganda, I'm trying not to make it.
I don't think anything has got better over the last 3 decades.
I don't think that, frankly, that matters whether it made you better or not. The issue with America is the use of American resources and military power to march across the world and instigate a global elites agenda. That's the issue with America. Whether America will be rich again when it's honest again, when it's true again and it's not controlled, just like Britain. We are as guilty. We're your moral conscience that stands up in front of the world and says, yeah, it's okay because the British say it's all right. So America, go fucking bomb the shit out of them. Yeah, that's when America will be great again. Not when you've got a decent economy. Well, yeah, about 7 presidents worth, weren't it?
And Canada and Australia. I mean, I don't think any of them have ever.
We haven't
been free. No, we're in the belly of the beast.
Mm.
Yes, you are, sir.
So it should come from us.
It's the eye of the storm. That's why it's so calm here. Realistically, that's why even World Wars 1 and 2 didn't affect us. It's the eye of the storm.
Strange days, my friends. Strange days indeed.
Now you live in interesting times.
Yeah. Oh, I don't know about you guys, but I gotta go. I don't even know if we're live anymore. Are we still live?
Yes, we're still live.
How to check?
I'm not sure. I'm trying to check now.
Yeah, we sure are. Yep.
Both places.
Oh dear. Late night run.
On where?
Yeah.
Where are we still live?
On you and on IRM.
Oh, we got the double stream for the good stuff, hey?
I don't even know how to stop going live.
You're going to groove us out, Josh or John or whoever who can do it.
Yeah. Go for it, Josh.
What, you want me to groove you out? The hell kind of
with that video?
Yeah, let's do that.
With that,
because I'm gonna go for a while anyways. I'll pop on later tonight. I'll be back, but I have to do some things I've been on since
I got
12 o'clock here now.
Lurking right now myself, so.
I'm gonna shut down my live feed because I don't
Take
know any
us
other way
away.
of how to. So thanks for listening. This is Iron Realm Media.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
We've been joined by. Let me check. Adam and Walt.
Good evening.
And Josh.
Yep.
Thank you,
and
guys.
Rob. And James. And myself.
Yep. Good afternoon. It's afternoon here,
It's been
12
a
o'clock.
lovely chat. And we will catch you all hopefully next Friday, 10 p.m. GMT.
Good night.
Same flat time, same flat channel.
Yoo-hoo!
Oh, well, I thought you were going to play the vid. There I left.
Well, I'm not going to be able to really play it on John's. I'll be.
Oh, that's right. I forget we're on John's. Oh, that's right. I'm so confused.
So I'm going to play it. I was just going to wait until John closed his out, and I was just going to transfer over to the IRM because it's on.
That's cool.
I'm just
Mine's closed down now, as far as I know.
Good deal.
All right, then. find this video. I know I had it somewhere. I think I have it. All right, so minus some technical difficulties, we did manage to make it through several hours today. That being said, Walt put together a little extended promo, so we're going to debut that here and now to close out the show. I really appreciate everybody tuning in, although there's not been that many people tuning in as of today, or at least as of this hour, this broadcast, because Google wants to screw with us. So, that being said, kill this music, because we don't need that one anymore. And we'll just go ahead and play this one. And this has been IRM Media.